as a clinical psychotherapist, I see couples every week. Most of them want to really improve their relationship and they want to make it work. But there are some couples that really don't belong together. They're couples that have issues and they've had issues for a long time and they're actually bad for each other. So, what happens when good people stay stuck in bad relationships? You know, there's a lot of reasons when you see people that are dating or married to somebody that's really bad for them. If you're close to that person, you might say, why do they stay together? Like, they're so wrong for each other. And you'll usually see one of the partners get taken advantage of and hurt more than the other one. The important thing to remember is you can't talk someone out of being with that person. In fact, the more you try to talk bad about their partner, the more likely they will defend them and they'll hang on tighter. So I'm going to tell you some reasons people stay in bad relationships. The first one is going to surprise you. A recent study showed that the women in those relationships were satisfied. They stayed in them because satisfaction of the partners is really important, and if the person getting taken advantage of the most says they're satisfied, then they're going to stay. Now, the reason they say they're satisfied is because they usually grew up in chaotic homes or homes where love was not healthy. And if you grew up in a home that people are yelling at each other, insulting each other, and calling that love, you may find that you correspond that and correlate that with the relationship you're in. So it may look like love when it's really not. It's very unhealthy. Secondly, they had a lower self-esteem. If you feel bad about yourself, then it only makes sense that you're going to stay locked in a relationship that keeps you down. I mean, if your partner's constantly yelling insults at you and calling you names and telling you that no one else will be able to love you, you can see why they could start feeling bad about themselves and believing that stuff. Thirdly, they change their standards. So what happens when you're stuck in a bad relationship is you start taking small positive things and you make those a big deal, like, oh my gosh, they're so good at that, they sent me flowers. Forget about all the bad things they do. You no longer hold them accountable for those things. You're overemphasizing the little things. They're like little feeders, little breadcrumbs they give you all day. And when someone gives you that, you start thinking that that's a big deal instead of the very small deal it is. Next, the partner might be controlling or manipulative. I don't know how many of you have ever been around a controlling, manipulative person, but these people can be abusive. They're abusive verbally, and many times it can escalate to physical. The partner is scared. They're afraid that if they leave this person, they might lose their kids. More likely, they could get hurt themselves, and that's why they're resistant to telling someone. And lastly, they feel like they made a big investment in this relationship. If you've invested years and money, then it's going to be harder to get out of it. If you're in a really sick relationship and you know it, you have to tell someone. Start out by telling a good friend. That's the biggest step. And if you can do that, that person can start helping you. And if you do hear a friend call out to you and say, listen, I got to do something, I'm scared, don't gang up on their partner. Remember, that's going to make them more defensive. It's going to make them feel like they're more of a failure than they are. Instead, point out the differences. Point out how important it is that you align on boundaries and values. And then from there, tell your friend, I will help you. And contact a mental health care professional or your friend's doctor. If you start there, many times your friend at least can start getting therapy to raise their self-esteem, their confidence, and then it will be easier for them to make the change they need to make, which is to save themselves and their child and get out of the home. If you're in a bad relationship, you don't belong there. You can't fix it. You need to get out. Please take care of you first and your children, and then we'll worry about your partner, okay? Have a great day.